out in Cupertino. What do we make of this quarter? What do we make about the commentary that 1 point of 10 points of growth was from pull forward as opposed to the other 9 points? And also the fact that they're not breaking out their AI spend as the others are, Karen.
Well, the 1 point of 10, well, I first sort of wonder, how do you know? How do you know what is a pull forward? Do you have to sign up as a pull forward buyer? I don't really know. If that is the case, let's say they do know, then I think that's pretty good. That's better than I thought it would be. So, I mean, you know, it's a nice beat for iPhone. Some beats, some less on some of the other hardware. Nice beat on services. So I'm surprised. I mean, it wasn't like the stock was on fire going in. So this is somewhat of a muted response to what was a far better than feared quarter.
Right, and it's not like it got
I'm not
any.
an Apple fan.
Right, it's not like it got any boost either in today's session on the back of yesterday's earnings, as a lot of the other tech stocks did. So right, so it went in kind of flat, and here it is. It's up 1%. I mean, lots can change on this conference call, but what do you make of it so far, Bonawyn?
I think it was a solid quarter. In fact, I think if they had even doubled that pull forward number and said it was 2 to even 3%, you would still be positively relieved by the fact that you're actually seeing some revenue growth here.
I thought they said 10%.
No, one of 10. And I'm saying
10 points.
I'm saying
you're
even
saying 2 of 3 of 10. I say
correct. Even if it were 20 to 30% of that number, I still think you'd be in a positive situation and positively surprised. And all of this still comes without them essentially having a significant AI push. Now, they mentioned the 7 startups that they bought. I don't know to what extent those are involved there, but it at least does show that they are somewhat open to AI via acquisition, and it probably brings forth probably a little bit more heat around that Perplexity purchase discussion. I think definitely kind of restoring some momentum back in China. Also, clearly you still have this $800-900 million overhang from tariffs there, but I think you're seeing that offset. That's where I would say the tariff pull forward might be positive. In fact, you're finding a way to actually offset what we've all now accepted as being a negative. So, and then the last thing I'll say is the services revenue. So that addressed iPhones, the services revenue, which is the other kind of key driver in terms of multiple expansion here, or multiple defense. I think that was also, 17%. So again, I think this is firing on all cylinders for something that's kind of been the laggard of the Mag 7. And I'm with the rest of you in terms of thinking that I would have expected a lot more upside here. And I think you likely will see that follow through once we kind of get past the overhang that was the conference call with Powell and probably lowering of odds of that September rate cut.
I think the overhang is that people thought that Apple's growth days are behind them. So think about what stalled. China. So China's back to growth. AI spend, September and June. As Bonawyn said, iPhone sales, Mac sales, services, all double digit. This is going to be a hell of a catch-up trade going into the end of the year.
Oh. You sound very bullish.
I wish I could redo my acronym. It would be like Baxter instead of Boxer. But yeah, I just think that people, just think about every analyst. You're looking for really extraordinary growth companies now. Apple's not on that list, right? But if you look at the 2.4 billion installed base, how can it not be on that list? There's so many things that they could actually convert. So whether it's M&A for AI, or if they go full bore and go right into quantum.
That's quite a leap.
Well, it's because I own a quantum stock. I'd like them to buy
it. Pun.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. No, but let's say the pull forward is not repeatable, and let's say that in the back half of the year there are price increases, and let's say that there is no AI product, because right now we don't know of an AI product that would spur any sort of super cycle. Tim, do you think that Apple can repeat this? I think that the stock reaction tells you that there is some skepticism about the ability to repeat this kind of growth going forward, given the headwinds.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And this is a catch-up trade implies all of that. And I think we have this conversation regularly. And my view has been that there's nothing in the price on AI. So why isn't that good news? Ultimately, when the stock's been able to weather a lot of dynamics technically, I think the chart holds well, somewhere around $200. But what we heard today are a couple things that I think are very encouraging. The record services revenue is something that I think will continue. And with the spend on CapEx in June and September quarters is something we can begin to at least estimate where more of that will go higher. I think the U.S. telco kind of equipment sales and some of it's, that's the best number in terms of buying from U.S. telcos in the last 6 or 7 quarters. I think that's bullish. I think the higher ASP on the 17 of $50 or more is very good. And we saw a gross margin that beat. And that's a dynamic that I think also people have been concerned about. Apple is not giving this phone away. They are not cutting their margin. They are not doing anything. If anything, they're going in the other direction. I love that as a shareholder. We know about the underperformance as a trader and as an investor. I like this name here.